What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Raised.
Cutthroat competition is nothing new in showbiz, and we constantly hear of some young guy who gave up on acting. Even famous actors have more than enough sometimes. But we found actors like Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavill, the Sprouse twins, and many others that had one role stand between them and failure. So here are the 10 actors who almost quit before becoming famous. Let's dive right into it, shall we? Number 10. Gal Gadot and the career problem. We know her as the girl who plays the iconic Wonder Woman in the 2017 movie. But although she is a loved and respected actress all over the world, this wasn't always the case. You see, before landing the role of the iconic superhero, she has spent so many years being rejected. She was 32 at the time, and she was questioning her life choices. Even though she served 2 years in the Israel Defense Forces and won Miss Israel in 2004, she still had one goal left on her bucket list, and it was the biggest one of all. She wanted to become a world-famous actress, so she moved to LA to try her luck. If everything went smoothly, we wouldn't be including her on our list. But dreams don't work that way. She was tough and resilient, but she couldn't handle the years and years of rejections at auditions. Before landing the biggest role of her life, she thought about going back to Israel and resuming her studies. Thank God she didn't. Number 9. Henry Cavill thought the acting world was not for him. Before making it big in Hollywood, Henry Cavill was the kid who was always bullied at school for participating in plays. He wasn't the handsome and hunky Cavill that we now know. At one point, he was a bit on the chubby side, and kids made fun of him. Through acting, he found acceptance. Even the bullies started telling him that they were impressed with his play. Then he wanted to conquer Hollywood, but his plans didn't really work out. In an interview, Henry was quoted as saying, "There were plenty of times I thought it wouldn't happen. At one stage, I was like, if this doesn't happen, then I'm out. I'm going to join the armed forces." Then he auditioned for a role in James Bond. Even though he didn't get it, well, he decided to smash that like button if you haven't done so already. But no, he actually decided to stick around and see if something better came along. Sure enough, he got cast in the show, The Tudors. This led to him landing the role of Superman in Man of Steel, and now Cavill even stars in the show called The Witcher. Number 8. Kristen Stewart and her initial career problems.
That was really awesome. Why are you shutting down my game? Let a player play. Oh, yeah, okay. What you playing? T-ball?
Kristen Stewart, the stress that became famous for starring in the Twilight Saga, couldn't take the rejection anymore. You see, Stewart wanted to become an actress ever since she was applauded for one of her school plays, and her mother believed she would succeed. So what's the first thing they did? They got in the car and her mother drove Kristen from audition to audition to audition, but to no avail. She was auditioning for roles for an entire year, but she was constantly getting rejected. And there were roles in commercials. At one point she said, "Fuck it, I won't make my mom drive around LA anymore." Just before quitting, her mom encouraged her to go to her last appointment. Had she not gotten that part in The Safety of Objects, she would have left the acting world for good. After this role, all of the others followed suit. Number 7. Emma Watson doubted herself.
What an idiot.
While some actors were struggling to get noticed, Watson landed one of the biggest roles in her lifetime when she was just a kid. But even she had doubts about herself, her choices, and her personality. Being one of the UN's ambassadors, Emma Watson was at a crossroads about her life's course. Ever since she knew about herself, Harry Potter was her only preoccupation. She was just doing stuff. She felt like people were expecting way too much of her, and she felt like she didn't deserve any of it. That's why when they wrapped filming of the last Harry Potter movie, she took 2 years to focus on herself and her life. She wanted to get away from it all and discover who she really is and what she truly wants. Thankfully, she has decided that acting is her passion. Number 6. Bradley Cooper and his troubled relationship with Hollywood.
Don't worry about it. We'll burn him with a post.
No, I got a better idea. Look, I want you to
When Bradley Cooper realized that the show Alias wasn't going to be his golden ticket to Hollywood, he told the director to write him off the script. Just 2 weeks after quitting Alias, he tore his Achilles. This had him bedridden for about a year. That's when he started doubting himself and thinking that it was a sign he wasn't meant to be an actor. Now, after his Achilles healed, he took a chance with 3 Days of Rain, a Broadway production that started to point him in the right direction, but drugs and alcoholism were still obstacles he had to cross. One night, he was drunk at a party and he started thinking about his life. He was terrified of the idea that he would really ruin his own life, so he banged his head against the concrete, twice, and there was no more addiction. Now, the golden ticket that he was hoping for came with the movie Wedding Crashers, and the rest, as they say, is history. Number 5. Millie Bobby Brown thinking about quitting.
Right there! Thief! Thief!
We know her from Stranger Things. We love her from Stranger Things. But Stranger Things was actually the reason she continued pursuing acting. She recently opened up about the amount of rejection present in Hollywood on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. You see, when she was just starting out, Millie tried to land as many commercials as she possibly could before landing a big one that would get her to the Hollywood promised land. She even auditioned for Game of Thrones, but they rejected her as well. Even though she was on the edge of quitting a few months later, she came across a show called Montauk. She immediately auditioned, and she got the part. They chatted on Skype and told her that the show had been renamed to Stranger Things, and we all know how that role went. Number 4. Scarlett Johansson and the hypersexualization.
6 porno sites today, John. Just today.
I don't know why you're talking.
We know Scarlett Johansson from her role as Black Widow in Marvel's The Avengers. What we didn't know about her is her humble beginnings and all of those hypersexualized roles she was getting in the beginning. Even though it was a different time back then, Scarlett Johansson still didn't feel comfortable playing the girl in shorts or the one-night stand girl or that other girl. That's why she started questioning her choices. Eventually, this made Scarlett look into her career options where she wouldn't be treated as a sexual object. But since then, times have changed and she's now glad she stuck around. Number 3. Ashley Murray almost quit acting before landing a role on Riverdale. When Ashley's dreams of making it big in NYC didn't come true, she considered putting her career on hold until she could get on her feet financially. After all, she was $4,700 behind in her rent and she only had $12 in her bank account. Times were rough and she needed a stable job. Right before finding one, she had one last audition. It was for Josie from Josie and the Pussycats in Riverdale. If she hadn't gotten this role, we would have been seeing a completely different Ashley today. But it all worked out for the best in the end. She's now happily pursuing her dreams. Number 2. Robert Pattinson. He became famous after appearing in the ultra-successful film trilogy Twilight, but did you know that Pattinson was at his wit's end right before landing the role? We know that he's a good actor. We know that he is now going to become the Caped Crusader in 2021, but directors didn't think much of him before 2012. Even the Twilight audition didn't go as planned, and Robert Pattinson said that it was his worst decision ever. Why? Because not only was he not landing any roles, he also brought a guitar on the Twilight audition. When the casting directors asked him to play a song for them and he couldn't, he said that his confidence basically hit a new low in his life. Thank God his audition tape was good. Number 1. Lily Reinhart was ready to give up if she didn't land Riverdale.
This? No, this is...
From one Riverdale star to the next, Lily rose to fame with her role as Betty Cooper in Riverdale. But just a few years ago, no one even knew who she was. She was driving around in her parents' car as they believe in her dream just as much as she did. Though going from Cleveland to NYC and not landing any audition frustrated Lily. She was considering quitting, but then the auditions started coming in. At first, it was only small roles. Some of them included Law & Order SVU, Not Waving But Drowning, and of course, Miss Stevens. This was 2016 and all of these small roles led her to the one big one. She landed her iconic role, and we all know how big of a star she is right now. And on that note, we end this video. But hey, do you know any other young actors that almost quit before becoming famous? You can tell us in the comment section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys!